All right, so let's talk about a real life example of how my intuition is guiding me and helping me work through core wounds. So, a couple of days ago, I went to Publix and I actually went there for almond milk and I only had $5 to spend, right? And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go get my almond milk, whatever. And as I was walking down one of the aisles, like this intuition dropped in and it was like, don't forget you need toothpaste. And I was like, oh shit, I am about to run out of toothpaste. So the priority here is going to be toothpaste over almond milk, right? So once I got the intuition, I like stopped and I looked up, and of course to the left, I'm in the feminine personal care aisle, like miraculously, right? And I look up and I'm right in front of the toothpaste and right in front of the toothpaste that I like, the Tom's. So this one had a $1 off coupon. So I was like, word. And it was the big tube. So I was like, oh, this is lit. So there was one of the ladies that worked there was like down low restocking some other toothpaste. And I asked her if, because it was different than the usual coupon things at Publix, where it's like buy one, get one or whatever. It was like a purple sign. So I had never seen that before. So I asked her, I was like, will the cashier know if it's on sale, or do I have to like do something for her to get this information? And she was like, no, they'll automatically know, they'll know, and she'll automatically process it. So I was like, all right, cool. So I grabbed my little toothpaste. I went to the register to check out, and surprise, surprise, it did not process automatically. So I told her about the coupon, and she pulled out this like, binder where they have all the coupons. And I was like, I started to get a little anxious, and like my people pleaser core wound kicked in, and I was like, do you need me to go get it? And that's like false masculine energy and people pleasing, right? So I recognized it, and I was like, okay, girl, chill, like inside of myself. And she said no. So then she looked at the coupons in the book, and it was there listed, and for some reason she was like, it's not valid. And I was like, what? So at first I felt frustrated, but instead of like getting flustered, and my old self would like flame somebody. Like that would be my little moment where I would flame somebody. But I was like, no, I'm grown. So I took a deep breath, and she went down the aisle to go look. And so 30 seconds to a minute passes by, and then at this point an elderly woman came up, and she had already like started putting all her stuff down on the conveyor belt thing. And she looked at me like irritated, and she was like, what happened? Like, where's the cashier at? So I explained the situation, and she was like, yeah, this happens a lot at Publix, and you have to be vigilant, because if you don't say something, they won't give you the advertised discount. So that is self-advocacy and boundaries, right? Cool. So she had already put her stuff down on the conveyor belt thingy. And so and it's like time is like ticking. And as time is going on, I'm getting like more anxious. And like for her to like pack her stuff up and go to another line would have been OD. But I was like thinking about it. I was like, should I help? Like my monkey mind or whatever, like my ego kicked in, and it was like, should I help her like pack the stuff up and move it to another thing? Like I'm such a burden. Da, da, da. All this is just like running through my mind, like as like we're just standing in this line. And I was like, you know what? I used the opportunity to collapse old identities. So let's look at the people pleasing first. I honestly at first considered to say like, forget it, when she was like, no, the coupon's not valid, because it was only $1. But the thing is, I needed it to be under $5. And they advertised it as that. So and that's why I bought it. So why should I not receive that? Like that abundance, right? Why should I lowball myself and like be a martyr? No. So I stood my ground and I set the boundary, right? So that was good. Progress. Also, it's not my responsibility to like go and retrieve the coupon, so the next thing I was working on there was patience and breathing and being present and feeling all of these like emotions come up while I'm the light is shining on me. Like, this is a perfect opportunity to really see like my core wound and how it plays out in a day-to-day basis and how I behave. Next, even though the woman who came up behind me was elderly and she was being slightly inconvenienced by having to wait like an extra 2 or 3 minutes because I stood up for myself, I'm not responsible for her discomfort or unhappiness in this situation. Like, she is not my responsibility. And this one is tricky because, you know, I was taught growing up that like you're supposed to help elderly people and you're supposed to like put them first, right? Like, societally, a lot of us are taught that. And like I automatically feel the need that I need to like sacrifice myself for an elder. And it's like, no, like that would have been OD. Like, no, that would have been not autonomous at all. No. Now, let's talk about this false masculine energy. So in this moment when my mind was like starting to go crazy, and like I looked over at the aisle where the cashier was at, like where she went to go check for the coupon, and it said literally feminine products, but the only part I could see was feminine. And I felt like that was communication from like my higher self or wherever it comes from, like some benevolent like higher consciousness that it was like reminding me to remain in my feminine energy. And like, so you know what I did? I took a deep breath, I was patient, and I visualized my transaction going through smoothly. So the cashier came back and she was like, it's not supposed to go through, but I'm going to give it to you. And instead of becoming defensive and like getting into this like petty dynamic of being like, yes, it is supposed to, da-da-da, like you advertised it, skirt. No, I just like took a deep breath and like said, thank you, and smiled genuinely because I was like, see, I just collapsed an old identity. So when I left the store, I felt amazing. And I said, thank you to God, and I said thank you to myself. And then lo and behold, I'm walking home and like I'm just like feeling like, you know that that song in Zoolander when they're having like the gasoline fight. They're like, I felt like that, and sure enough, like I like look over to my right, and literally lying on top of a bush right in my path is a cigar pack. And it was just like resting there, like waiting for me. And I like literally started cracking up, and I was like, thank you, like it felt so good to just like trust and be feminine and just like be myself without like manipulating the outcome, and like enjoy being alive and like having fun with it, and like just being a part of like this whole game, and like having fun, and like coming out of this like fear and lack thing and just being like, no, I got it. And that was like a really great opportunity for me to like collapse the old and start living as the new, because it's not about like knowing it. You have to do it. You have to be it every single day. So that's that.